The signal came through at 0300 hours, just when Commander Jax Riley was enjoying the first decent cup of synthetic coffee he'd had in weeks. The maintenance bot had finally fixed the dispenser after what felt like an eternity of drinking brown sludge that tasted suspiciously like engine coolant. "Commander," called Lieutenant Olivia Nguyen from her station, her voice carrying that particular tone that meant either something was about to explode or something interesting had been discovered. "You might want to see this." Riley sighed and walked over, privately mourning the coffee he'd have to abandon. The exploration vessel Nomad had been charting the outer reaches of the Cygnus arm for 6 months, and so far, the most exciting thing they'd found was a moon that looked vaguely like someone's left buttock from certain angles. "Please tell me it's not another space rock that resembles human anatomy," Riley muttered. "It's a signal, sir. Artificial. And..." Nguyen hesitated, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's using an old Earth protocol." "Very old." Riley frowned. "How old are we talking?" "Last century." "Try last millennium," Nguyen replied, pulling up the signal pattern on the main view screen. "This is a distress beacon using protocols that haven't been in service since before the third solar expansion. About 3,000 years ago." "That's impossible," said Chief Engineer Dax Holloway, who had materialized beside them with the uncanny ability that all engineers seem to possess when something technically interesting was happening. "The only ships that far out then were the Prometheus project," Riley finished, feeling a chill despite the Nomad's perfectly regulated temperature. Every schoolchild knew the story of humanity's first attempt at interstellar colonization. 7 massive generation ships, each carrying 10,000 colonists in stasis, sent out to the stars. 6 arrived at their destinations, founding the first human colonies beyond Sol. But the 7th, the Prometheus, simply vanished without a trace. "The signal has an ID tag," Nguyen continued, her voice almost a whisper now. "It matches the Prometheus registry." The bridge fell silent. Riley could hear the soft hum of the air recyclers, the distant ping of internal systems, and the pounding of his own heart. "Could it be a hoax?" asked Holloway, breaking the silence. "Some bored colonists with too much time and technical knowledge. Out here." Riley gestured to the star map. "We're in the middle of nowhere, Dax. Nearest colony is 4 months at full burn." Dr. Ilara Voss, the ship's exobiologist and Riley's perpetual thorn in the side, laughed from her station across the bridge. "Oh, this is perfect. Either we've found the most significant archaeological discovery in human history, or we're about to star in our own horror movie. Anyone want to bet which?" "Your optimism is inspiring, Doctor," Riley said dryly. "Just saying what everyone's thinking, Commander." Voss shrugged, her dark eyes gleaming with the same excitement that Riley felt but couldn't show. "The Prometheus is basically the Flying Dutchman of space. Finding it is either the discovery of a lifetime or the beginning of a cautionary tale." Riley turned to Communications Officer Zane Thorne. "Contact Central Command. Full details, priority channel." 12 tense minutes later, the response came through. Riley wasn't surprised by the content, just disappointed. "They want us to maintain position and wait for a specialized research vessel," he announced to the expectant faces of his bridge crew. "Estimated arrival, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Holloway spluttered. "The signal could be gone by then. Or whatever sent it," Voss added unhelpfully. Riley rubbed his temples. I know. But orders are orders." Lieutenant Nguyen cleared her throat. "Sir, there is the matter of Regulation 14C. Riley raised an eyebrow. "Refresh my memory, Lieutenant." "In the event of a verified distress signal, the nearest UEF vessel is obligated to render immediate assistance, regardless of prior directives," Nguyen recited, somehow managing to keep a straight face while essentially telling him how to circumvent their orders. "That regulation is for contemporary distress signals, not 3,000-year-old ones," Thorne pointed out. Voss snorted. "Nowhere in the regulation does it specify an expiration date on distress calls. Talk about a loophole you could fly a starship through. Riley felt the corners of his mouth twitching upward. Plot a course to the signal source, Lieutenant Nguyen. Best speed. Aye, sir, Nguyen replied, already inputting the coordinates. ETA 47 hours. I'll prep the shuttle, Holloway said, heading for the exit. And I'll prep the quarantine protocols, Voss called after him. Just in case whatever's on that ship has spent the last 3 millennia evolving specifically to feast on human entrails. Thank you for that mental image, Doctor, Riley said, returning to his now cold coffee. I live to serve, Commander, Voss replied with a mock salute. The next 2 days passed in a blur of preparation and speculation. Every member of the crew had their own theory about what had happened to the Prometheus. Some believed it had been attacked by an unknown alien species. Others thought it had fallen victim to some sort of space-time anomaly. The ship's betting pool, which Riley pretended not to know about, had reached astronomical figures. As they approached the coordinates, Riley ordered the ship to drop out of FTL at a safe distance. Full scan, he commanded as the starfield stabilized around them. Let's see what we're dealing with. Object detected, Nguyen reported. Large. Definitely artificial. The view screen adjusted, and there it was. Even from a distance, the design was unmistakable, one of the great generation ships of old Earth. Its massive cylindrical body rotated slowly, creating artificial gravity for its long-dead inhabitants. Solar sails, now tattered and damaged, extended from one end like the petals of a withered flower. The hull was scarred with micrometeorite impacts and radiation damage, but remarkably intact. The Prometheus, Riley breathed. Well, I'll be damned, Holloway whispered. It's actually real. Voss let out a low whistle. Looks like somebody owes me 500 credits. Life signs? Riley asked, ignoring her. None detectable, Nguyen replied. But there's substantial interference. The ship's radiation shielding is still partially functional, which is. She paused, double-checking her readings, frankly impossible after all this time. Power signatures. Riley pressed. Minimal, but present, Thorne confirmed. Concentrated in what appears to be the central core and the engineering section. So a 3,000-year-old ghost ship is somehow maintaining power and sending out a distress signal, Voss summarized. Definitely not suspicious at all. We need to go aboard, Riley decided. Nguyen, Holloway, Voss, you're with me. Thorne, you have the bridge. Is bringing your entire command staff really the best idea? Thorne asked. Protocol suggests. Protocol can take a spacewalk without a suit, Riley cut in. We've just found the Prometheus. I'm not sending a junior team. The shuttle journey was tense. As they approached the massive generation ship, its true scale became apparent. The Prometheus was nearly 20 kilometers long, a city in space designed to sustain thousands of humans for centuries if necessary. They located what appeared to be a functioning airlock on the habitat ring and docked the shuttle. Suits sealed and checked, Riley confirmed as the team prepared to board. We stay together, we touch nothing unless absolutely necessary, and we find the source of that signal. Clear. Crystal, Voss replied, adjusting her helmet. Though I'd like to point out that in literally every space horror story, this is the part where things go horribly wrong. Noted, Doctor. Holloway, open her up. The airlock cycled with surprising efficiency for its age. As the inner door slid open, their helmet lights pierced the darkness beyond, revealing a corridor that curved gently away in both directions, following the rotation of the habitat ring. Gravity nominal, Nguyen reported, checking her instruments. Atmosphere, present but not breathable. High carbon dioxide, trace amounts of oxygen. Something's been alive in here, Voss said quietly. Recently. They moved carefully down the corridor, their boots echoing on the metal floor. The walls were lined with what had once been hydroponics bays, now filled with strange, pale plants that seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. "These aren't in any database I've ever seen," Voss murmured, scanning the vegetation. "They've evolved to survive in minimal light with high CO2. "The signal's coming from the central core," Holloway said, checking his locator. "About 2 kilometers in that direction." He pointed along the curve of the corridor. As they walked, Riley couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The habitat module showed signs of habitation, not just the plants, but deliberate modifications to the structure, strange symbols carved into the walls, and what looked like primitive tools fashioned from ship components. "Commander," Nguyen called suddenly, her voice tight. "Movement ahead." Riley raised his hand, signaling the team to halt. In the distance, barely visible in the gloom, something darted across the corridor. "Did you see that?" Holloway whispered. "Humanoid," Voss confirmed. "Bipedal locomotion, but the proportions seemed off." Riley keyed his comms. "Thorne, we've got company. Possible survivors." "Survivors?" Thorne's voice crackled back. "After 3,000 years. Descendants," Voss corrected. "The Prometheus was a generation ship. If some crew members woke up from stasis, they could have survived. Adapted. Bred. We're reaching out," Riley decided. "Universal greeting protocols." He stepped forward, lowering his weapon, and activated his suit's external speakers. "This is Commander Jax Riley of the United Earth Federation vessel Nomad. We've received your distress signal and are here to help. We mean no harm." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, from the shadows ahead, a figure emerged. It was humanoid, as Voss had said, but with distinctly non-standard proportions, longer limbs, an enlarged cranium, and skin so pale it was almost translucent. It wore what appeared to be a crude uniform fashioned from synthetic materials. And then, to everyone's shock, it spoke, the words distorted but recognizably human. "Welcome back," it said, its voice a rasping whisper that sent chills down Riley's spine. "We've been expecting you for a very, very long time." The pale figure stood motionless, its oversized eyes reflecting their helmet lights like a nocturnal animal caught in headlights. "Did that thing just speak English?" Holloway whispered over the comm. "A dialect of it," Voss replied, scientific curiosity overtaking her horror movie concerns. Riley switched to external speakers. "We received your distress signal. Are you in need of assistance?" The pale humanoid tilted its head. "Distress? No. Invitation. The architect wishes to speak with you." As they followed their guide, more evolved humans appeared, all with pale skin, enlarged craniums, and unnervingly long limbs. "They've evolved for low gravity and artificial light," Voss murmured, scanning discreetly. "But how did they survive?" Nguyen asked. "The life support should have failed centuries ago." Their guide answered without turning. "We adapted the ship. The ship adapted us. Symbiosis." They arrived at a circular chamber humming with activity. At the center stood a tall figure unlike the others, robust, with darker skin and features more like baseline humanity. "The visitors, architect," their guide announced. The architect stepped forward. 3,417 years. That's how long we've waited for Earth to answer our call." Riley removed his helmet. "I'm Commander Riley of the Nomad. We only received your signal 3 days ago." The architect smiled, revealing pointed teeth. "The signal activated when your ship entered this sector. We've been waiting for one to come close enough." "You've been waiting for us? Why?" "To deliver a message," the architect replied. "And a warning." Voss stepped forward. "How are you still alive? The Prometheus disappeared 3 millennia ago." "We never disappeared, Doctor. We escaped." "Escaped?" Holloway echoed. "From what?" "From you. From Earth." From humanity's doomed path. The Prometheus project wasn't humanity's triumphant expansion, the architect continued. It was an evacuation of elites while Earth died. Our ancestors realized the other ships were doomed to repeat the same mistakes. So they went rogue, Nguyen said. They chose freedom and came here to build something new. Self-directed evolution, Voss said. The architect nodded. We adapt ourselves to space rather than terraform worlds. I am a throwback, bred to communicate with you. The signal was a test, to see if Earth humanity deserved contact with us. In engineering, an enormous pillar of energy swirled within a hybrid of technology and biological material. A full drive? Holloway asked incredulously. That's impossible. Full technology wasn't developed until the 26th century. By Earth standards, the architect corrected. We developed it millennia ago. We've explored 12 galaxies and encountered 18 sentient species. Then why stay hidden? Nguyen asked. Why not share this with the rest of humanity? The architect's expression darkened. Because humanity hasn't changed. Your colonies still strip mine planets. Your governments still wage wars. Would you give a plasma cannon to a child? Riley bristled. We're not children. Aren't you? Your first instinct upon finding us was to arm yourselves. That's not fair, Riley protested. Earth today is nothing like the world your ancestors left. Perhaps. That's why we've decided to give you a chance. A choice. What kind of choice? Join us. Bring your ship and crew into our collective. Learn our ways. Help us guide Earth-based humanity toward a better path. And if we decline, then you leave with a warning, stay out of this sector of space. Riley studied the architect's face. You're asking us to defect. I'm asking you to transcend. Commander, Holloway muttered over their private channel, that energy signature from the core is spiking. We need time to consider your offer, Riley told the architect. You have 1 hour. Sir, Nguyen said suddenly, they're generating a field around our shuttle and the Nomad. We're trapped. Get Thorn on comms, Riley ordered. Commander. The Prometheus is interfering with our systems. Engine startup is offline, and there are smaller vessels surrounding us. Initiate emergency protocols. Authorization Riley Omega 7. The shuttle's comm activated with the architect's voice. Disappointing but predictable. Your emergency self-destruct sequence has been disabled. We've had millennia to study your protocols. What do you want from us? Humanity stands at a crossroads. One path leads to transcendence, as we have achieved. The other leads to extinction. And the warning? We will no longer remain passive observers. We've detected your experiments with dimensional folding at your Callisto facility. Such technology in your hands would be catastrophic. Riley froze. The Callisto project was the most classified research initiative in UEF history. How do you? We know everything about you. We've had infiltrators in your society for centuries. While the architect spoke, Riley noticed Voss silently mouthing, field fluctuations. Regular intervals. Now. Riley shouted. Holloway slammed the shuttle's thrusters to maximum as Nguyen triggered their counter-resonance pulse. The shuttle broke free with a violent lurch. Thorn. Emergency jump, now. The Nomad's engines flared to life. Space distorted as its FTL drive engaged. The shuttle, still too close, was caught in the edge of the jump field. When reality stabilized, they found themselves half a light year away, battered but intact. Everyone still breathing? Riley asked. Barely, Voss groaned. Did we actually just escape from humanity's evolved future? We need to warn Earth, Nguyen said. Would anyone believe us? Holloway asked. Riley stared out at the stars. We tell them exactly what happened. And we pray that someone listens. And if they don't? Voss asked quietly. Riley thought about the architect's pointed teeth, the casual way it had spoken of infiltrating human society, the technological gulf between their civilizations. Then I guess we'll all find out if humanity passes the test. As the shuttle limped back to the Nomad, Riley couldn't shake the feeling that they hadn't escaped at all, that everything had been exactly what the evolved humans had planned. A message delivered. A warning issued. And now the countdown had begun.